Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. Hopefully, you guys do enjoy this episode, even though it's going to be a little bit more on the sadder side. But hopefully, what is learned or what's taken in from this episode helps you cope, learn, and build from whatever hardships that you'll face in the future. This episode is going to be a little bit of compilations of stories as well as what I've done to help deal with said things. For me, recently, there's been a strange trend where I lose a family member every September, and it's been a little bit of a roller coaster because usually when bad things happen or sad things happen to people, it makes you a little bit darker. It makes you a little bit more sad. It makes you think of all of the horrible things that are happening in life, and it can put you in a mindset of why is this happening to me, or you know I have the worst luck, or I'm cursed, or stuff like that. But at the same time, it helps you build relationships, and it shows you how strong you are as an individual, but also as a family unit. Not even just a family unit, but also the people who support you in your life. Sometimes loss is not fully loss, but it's also a way to show who really supports you and who is just kind of there, right? I remember there was a trend a while back where it's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And as corny as that line is, there is some truth to it. I don't believe that people should always deal with someone at their worst, but if you are capable of dealing with someone at their worst, because there is going to be a time where you're going to see them not as that perfect person, whether it's the flaws that they make that eat you up inside, or something devastating happens that makes them sick, or there's a loss that's so great that they're not their regular self, right? Like, I had a conversation with a person who I could have been in a long term relationship or potentially a relationship, but when I saw how sad they got and there was nothing that I could do about it, I knew that it's not a good decision for me because I can't handle that person at their worst. And if I can't handle that person at their worst, how could we grow in a relationship? It's We're going to be stuck when that happens, and I would feel completely helpless, and that's going to make me spiral into my worst, right? So it'd just be a lose lose situation, right? We're not on the same level, and I guess mentally slash emotionally, I wasn't ready for that. And I also let them know that, as much as I do love you as a person, when this aspect happens in life, I don't know how to handle it. And this is why you and I can't be like a thing, right? And, we're still friends, we're still mutual to an extent. Do we talk as much? Absolutely not, right? Because it's kind of it's kind of rough hearing it's it's you not me, or it's also uh, a situation where you're saying it's not me, it's you, or it's not you, it's me. It's a little bit of both, right? So sorry, I know it's a sadder episode, but I need to put some giggles because there's just too much chaos going on. I have to add some giggles into this, right? So just experimenting, and I don't mean that in like the worst way possible, but like exposing yourself to certain things, being vulnerable helps you develop your personality, as well as it shows you your limits and what you can do to create a better environment, not only for yourself, but the people that are surrounding you. And when you become mature enough, or once you have enough information through trial and error, it helps you become a better person. But it helps you also be a little bit more definitive of what you want. You have to be comfortable in taking an L to get a huge W, right? If you explore and do research or talk to anyone who's successful, you don't even have to talk to successful people, but you could see when they do interviews, etc., they'll show you what they had to push through to get to where they are now, right? A lot of us see people at the end stage and we judge them through that, whether they're successful or whether they're on the street, but we don't know that whole story. And this episode's here to show you that there is more of a story, but at the same time, we want to be at the best point of our finish lines, right? We don't want to finish being a person going through a dumpster, right? We want to be where we feel that success is. And I believe that most people don't think having that kind of end is successful. But if that's you, it might be you, right? Having the freedom to not expect too much and just live off the land, but in a metropolis, right? Which is pretty crazy. Like this Saturday I decided to go to the farmers market. This year I just haven't gone to the farmers market whatsoever. I usually go every week or every other week. That was like my thing, at least back during the pandemic, and it kind of died down. And it was very strange for me because there was a lineup for the homeless people, and I've never seen a line so huge. And recently I've been seeing videos on YouTube about, like, whether it's the GTA or other parts of Ontario and the rising homeless problem. And it's crazy and it's sad, and it's like right in our face, but it's not, because if you're busy working and doing different things and you're not in those sectors, you don't understand how people are being affected. And even when it comes to mental health services and housing services, if you live in certain cities, the amount of people that are requesting for homes and everything, if you are not resilient, if you can't be above your sadness, then the system will completely discard you. And it's insane how heartless it seems, but at the same time there's so many people requesting it, so it's hard to not try to be logical, I guess, for these people. Because if you think about it too much, which is what we're gonna siphon into, if you think about anything too much, especially if it's something that makes you upset or sad, you can't be emotionally stable. And when you're not emotionally stable, you tend to make poor choices, right? Loss and failure is a part of life. The only thing that we could do to help with failure is to set ourselves up better each and every day, right? Recently, I was on antibiotics because I got sick of like a weird infection. And due to antibiotics, I gained like 15 pounds. And everybody and their mom has noticed, right? And I could be here and be super sad about my weight gain, or I could do something about it. And realistically, I have been doing something about it. I'm doing like 100 push-ups every day. That's the goal, at least. But I know that I'm not instantly going to lose weight. And especially with winter coming on, you're going to get the winter pounds because it's getting cold, right? So I'm in a kind of lose-lose situation, but there's only so much that I could do. Like, I could quit drinking on the weekends, right? I went to bear parties this summer, and I went to 3 concerts, and I have at least one more concert to go, right? I've been a big foodie, especially driving around. You guys have been tuning into the driving series, right? And I'm outside eating everything, right? Even like as I speak about this episode, Krispy Kreme has new donuts, and Chick-fil-A is having free sandwiches, so I'm probably gonna hit that up before I go to work, right? So, you know, having a goal and a set goal and making sure that you're following and sticking to your plan is part of a way to avoid failure, right? But at the same time, being able to be humble enough to understand that, I've failed, I made a mistake, I messed up, and living with it will help you grow to be a bigger person, right? A lot of the sins in our life, a lot of the mistakes in our life, a lot of the stress and drama in our life are things due to us hard focusing on it, right? When you hard focus on something, you're going to get involved with it, especially if it's something that you're trying to avoid, right? Like if you're a smoker, for example, and you're trying to quit smoking and you're like, oh, I'm not going to smoke today, I'm not going to smoke today. Even sometimes having that whole counter, it's might negatively affect you. You have to figure out is having 30 days sober, 10 days sober, 15 days sober, having that count, is it helping you or is it making you more susceptible to the behavior, right? Sometimes it's not helping you the way that it should be helping you. And you have to find another method, or you have to do the complete opposite. Sometimes you want that validation, so you want to let everybody know. But sometimes it's something that you need to keep private so that you could build yourself up, right? If you want to get a little bit more of a detailed explanation on that, I would suggest heading to my episode about silent celebrations, where we talk about different things and how to build a momentum on an achievement, right? I won't talk about it too much. You could check out that episode. Maybe I'll drop it in the description, right? So you guys can check that out. But I think it's a great segue and another way to build on your W's, right? Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be successful in a certain manner, right? I don't know what success looks like to you. It looks like different things to different people, right? But at the end of the day, when I hear the word success, I think what I've planned to achieve and I'm finally there. That's how I see success. Either way, guys, hopefully you guys are liking this episode. My biggest thing on loss is remembering that there's always a way out, right? And even if you've made a huge mistake, there's always times to reset, right? And there's different things where like you can make a really big mistake, but at the end of the day, as long as you're alive, there's something that you could do to move towards feeling better about the mistake, or making atonement for the mistake if you think it's something like that, or becoming a better person in general. If you've wronged someone and they don't want to forgive you, it's not on you to force them to forgive you, right? If they don't want to talk to you, if they don't want to live around you, if their judgment is made about you, that's fine, right? Some people think that people cannot change. My view on it is that people have a lot of hardwired settings, right? Similar to computers, right? But ultimately, there can be change, and it's up to that person to change, right? You have your core beliefs and everything, but unless you're brainwashed, a lot of it's going to be the same. Can you change over time? Yes. And to have that openness to know that people will change is fine, but you can't force that change, right? If you check out my Uber Chronicles episode, you'll get a glimpse of that where I talked to an Uber driver who used to be doing drugs, right? So you guys can check that one out to kind of get a little bit more of a perspective on that one as well, right? Guys, I'm shilling in some of my older episodes just because why not? Sometimes we have to go back and reflect on certain things and it helps us grow. Sometimes we have a message and later in life, that message doesn't make sense or resonate to what you believe now, right? It's why a lot of people think that something that they did years ago is cringy or awkward or weird, right? But at that time, you enjoyed it, right? Or it might have been popular or a little bit normal, right? And like every time I see that someone enjoys anime, it brings life back into my heart, right? And as much as it is very mainstream right now, I just get super excited to the point where sometimes it makes people feel awkward. But a lot of anime fans now, or newer anime fans now, don't understand how much of an outcast you were to even like openly admit that you like anime, or even if you cosplayed, or if you even did like something from a show where people would just completely rail on you and laugh at you and make fun of you and talk about you, and it's just it's crazy, and you feel like a loser, you feel like a failure, you feel like an outcast. And that thing where I could say that probably there's people who have like left the earth due to being bullied about this if they were still alive now, or if they just took that L now, or at that time now, they would be reaping the rewards of that following or that belief that this is great, right? So you got to always remember that things can change. Life changes all the time. And even when it comes to your environment, something might not be popular here where you live right now. It could be popular somewhere else. And maybe it's time for you to move. Maybe it's time for you to explore the world a little bit. Like today, I met someone who is now like currently married, and they said that they spent 3 years abroad just because they were single, and they were just taking a chance here and there. And it kind of sparked me thinking on what I want to do for next year. Like I said in some previous episodes, I do have some plans for next year, right? But I might just do something a little bit more crazy. Why? Because I have that freedom to do it, right? And talking with that person where they moved out of the GTA, they thought they'd never like some boony town. They're in a boony town, not 100% boony. It's like developing, similar to like Brampton like 20 years ago, or like some other smaller towns. It has that vibe, and they enjoy it, right? So sometimes you grow out of things, right? Sometimes convenience isn't what you want, it's the quiet. Sometimes it's not the quiet, you want the convenience. Sometimes you want to be just surrounded by people or away from people, right? But when we experiment, when we lose, when we fail, all of these things help reshape what we truly want. And sometimes letting go or just embarrassing yourself helps you realign what you truly want. So hopefully this episode was informative for you guys. Hopefully you go out, you try different things, you fail, you be successful, and you keep an open mind, right? I think right now a lot of people aren't being open minded. Let's be open minded. Let's learn. Let's develop, and let's see where we could move forward into the future. And let's make life and the planet just a better place. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Take care.